board motors. They're like this big, are like $200 or $300.
Really?
Yeah, and it's got like, dude, it's got Edison phonographs there with the wax tubes. Like, I'm like, man, I just want to go see them. I've never seen it.
That'd be cool, man.
Yeah,
take pictures.
It's my
Adobe stock and epidemic.
Oh,
what's that?
I got a commercial
for your own live stream.
This is for Eric.
Ah, Eric, and his ads.
I finally got monetized, so I have I didn't know it even put commercials in live streams, but I guess that's the case.
Nice.
What should I say? Type out something clever.
Hey, why you gotta put me on the spot like that?
I don't know.
All I got is congrats. See, we were thinking the same thing. It's like we have this like thing going on.
What's going on, everybody? Hope everybody's doing well.
Ezra's greeting everybody right out of the gate.
I'm I'm gassy. That's me.
One of them things. I think I'm let me see. There it goes. StreamYard on delay. Like,
no, there we go.
Sean, good to see you, bro. Jimmy, thanks for coming.
Hey, Mama Duck.
Dapper Tiger with a super chat. Thank you, bro.
Man, congrats, buddy. Stoked for you.
Yeah, it won't be long. You'll be right behind me.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was like trying to be like sneaky and like hide him behind me, but like he apparently wants to be more on the live stream than anybody else. So
yeah. That's what Regina was looking forward to. She's like, "What about the baby?"
Yeah.
I was like, "I'm sure it'll be around. I'm sure Ezra will make an appearance."
He's been teething and like I don't know, man. I think his gums have been bothering him. So like he's just been like attacking my fingers and knuckles. Like he like goes.
Yeah.
So don't mind him. He's good. Good.
You just be like this. Hey.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened, but yeah.
You could bite my nails for me.
Ew.
Yeah.
That's gross.
That's
right.
That immunity right out.
Immunity out the gate.
That's one of those things. Oh man. Yeah, we do appreciate all you guys for coming in. To get started here shortly. As you can see, we do have different people on the show tonight. For those of you that have not met, this is my wife, Regina. I don't think you've ever seen her other than briefly in a video like It's Gotta Go. But and then Sam, I'll let you introduce your bride and family.
Yeah, so this beautiful specimen here is my wife, Christina.
Hi.
And this noisy young man over here is my son, Ezra. So we appreciate you both being on the show. So, and I guess you three.
Yeah. Ezra made a little appearance last week for a second. Like,
yeah.
He's hanging out. But yeah, he was it's good, man. It's kind of crazy because even though we've never met in person, we do feel like it's family. I mean, me and Sam talk so much that we kind of know each other's wives without knowing each other's wives. Like, not saying that's always the subject of conversation.
Yeah,
the negative coming y'all's way, but just we relate on a lot of levels.
Yeah,
and then obviously Ezra seems like a part of the family because he was almost on the live show with us like from the beginning. That was it's cool.
Yeah.
So tonight we are going to be talking about wives of reselling and just kind of their experience. Because I know, like with my wife personally, she doesn't resell. She does go with me places, but she's not super involved in that. And Christina has other things that she does outside of this. So, like always, guys, if y'all have questions, please put them in the chat. Do thank Nikki T for coming in and Shasha. thank you for being here. Sean dropping Dapper Tiger's link. Sam is up over 900 some subs. I know he'll never plug himself like that way, but man, if for some reason you're not subscribed, get on that. And Shasha, I would gladly hand you off to Sam if you want to help somebody with some watch hours. That'd be awesome. Anthony, thanks for coming in. Dan, thanks you for being here. Yeah, we decided to bring the spouses on tonight and kind of dive into the backside of reselling, like the things that we all, if you have a spouse that is involved in this journey with you, then obviously we all kind of have the same struggles. So it's one of them things. So we'll dive into some of that here shortly. Yeah, Shasha, thank you. Appreciate that. She's looking out for you, Sam.
Yes, he had to go change him really quick.
There you go. Get those out of the way.
Real life,
Yeah, that's how it works. And Tim, man, thank you for coming in. Like I said, if y'all have questions, if you'll drop them in the chat with the caps. And Sam and Christina are a lot more savvy about that stuff. She's I know she's on board with Sam. Joe, Philly Picker, thanks for coming in. Sam will be back momentarily. Little Ezra had a 2-2 he had to go take care of. So we're doing that. Well, guys, I guess I could start off with us. Our journey's a little different than a lot of people. I've never really been very open and shared our entire story, but I felt like tonight, you guys are a lot of the people I know, and not necessarily in person, but we've known you through YouTube, and it's kind of become family. But for those of y'all that don't know, my wife actually had a stroke in 2001. So she does not have full use of her right side now. Initially, when she had the stroke, it was pretty bad. There's no reason for it. Like the doctors did every kind of test they could imagine, said that she had a massive stroke, and there's no reason. Like they ran a bunch of tests and basically came back inconclusive. So our life drastically changed in 2001. We've been married now 25 years. So you figure after our first 6 years of marriage is when that happened. So it kind of changed some things for us as far as how we operate at home. Regina actually walks assisted with a cane and has a brace on her right side so that she can raise her foot and walk. So as far as like being as fluid talking and stuff, just to give you heads up, like I might have to help her out some on the interpretation, but she does get her point across to me for sure. We've been together for a while, so that's happened. When she first had the stroke, she's come a long way because initially the doctor said that she would either be a vegetable, could pass away, or she just may not make it, and not recover. So she is an amazing woman and has done exceedingly much further than I could ever imagine. She does stuff around the house that blows me away now. Like sometimes I come home, she's moved furniture around. She does laundry and gets it all folded up, which is amazing to me because you ever try to do it with your offhand, it's pretty wild. And then cooks and cleans and does all kinds of stuff. And keeps me straight for sure. So I did just want to take some time to introduce her to my YouTube family and kind of let you know about her. She's like, ask questions. Don't expect me to go on a long rant. Hey, I do want to recognize some super chats. I do thank you guys. Old School Picker Chris, man, appreciate it. Thanks for coming in. Leroy. Man, we appreciate you, buddy. I actually sent some pictures to Leroy yesterday about tools. Thanks, Aaron, Tommy Bernard. Thank you guys for popping in. So for us, like I said, 25 years, have 2 kids. They're grown now, 23, 25. Actually, so we're kind of on the empty nest deal, and she goes with me yard selling and some other things. keeps after me about staying busy listing and getting stuff out of the way, which always never seems to stop accumulating. So we one of those things. So we're thankful to have each other for sure. So
Look at that.
That's awesome. We're glad you're here.
Yep.
So, I mean, I think even just like having that, man, just like the laundry, the little extra stuff, you know, that you kind of take for granted, that's a whole lot. Like just even having a hot meal waiting for you after you're done working.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. She can do pretty much everything that I can do, but with one hand, which is amazing. Like I don't even know. When she first had this stroke, for about the first few weeks, like after she went through rehab for like 2.5 months, and coming out of that, like I would try, because it's her left hand, which wasn't her dominant side.
Sure.
It's what she has to use now. And I know you're familiar somewhat with this stuff because of the whole physical therapy. But like for me, trying to use one hand, like I try to do some of the stuff she does with just my left hand. Nah, it's terrible.
Yeah. Well, you know, and that's the thing, like about, you know, having a stroke or a neurological like disease. You know, back in the day, you know, they would basically give you a death sentence. Now it's like, hey man, we know nerves grow. It's just slower than we're used to or want. But if you work at it, you know, what Regina's showing you, like, man, you can make it happen, you know, and be more than functional, you know.
Yeah,
so that's awesome.
Yeah.
So Tim's comes right out of the gate and just throws down the gauntlets on us, Sam, and says, "How often do wives want to kill their husband?" Because sometimes I get jokes.
Yeah, that's the main.
5
Like 5 times a day is what she's.
Right.
That's what Regina.
I told him I wouldn't be mean, so I told him I wouldn't be mean.
You bite your tongue.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks for the super chats there. Show me pickers and Miss Annie. Appreciate you. Lisa writes, I'm sure that's Lisa typing that and not Rob. I do drool on occasion, but only when I'm sleeping.
No, it's what's
on the pillow snoring.
yeah, it's really very loud.
Yeah, one of those things. So Christina, I know, you know, with you and Sam, y'all have all kinds of reselling going on at the house, and juggling all that has got to be interesting for you guys as well. So from what I hear, Christina was kind of in reselling probably before me and Sam.
Yeah.
She has a little bit more experience on some of that. But how are things with you guys? The whole.
I started reselling before. I used to resell like shoes and like Supreme clothes, and I would be the ones who I would wait for like the drops and use like bots and stuff like that to like buy really expensive shoes and then sell them for more. It was a lot more stressful doing that, I think, than thrifting and buying like cheaper items and selling them. But lately I've been like selling a lot of my like nursing and baby stuff and like breast pumping stuff, and everything's been selling really quickly. I find like if you're part of like Facebook groups for like specific things that people are like looking for, things like sell quickly versus like Mercari. But I mean, for Sam, I noticed he started before me, but I think he became more like into reselling when we were trying to declutter for Ezra. And then I think he kind of took it the other way and then try to make money for the baby by buying more stuff and reselling it. So, but it's been cool watching him like get really into it.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, it's like helpful too to like have someone who's like, yo, talk about like living with someone who's like, did you check the price on that? Like before I buy anything, she'll comp it for me, which is awesome. Like,
I'm strict. I could be strict.
Right. Well, it's interesting because like, some of the conversations we're having, like, should be like, like I'm thinking about like getting this pump. If I get this pump, I can have this and I can flip this. And essentially we have that. Even like we've talked about this, like with our stroller that converts into a car seat. So like, I'll get this and it's this, it's this much. So then when we have to upgrade in a year, we can still sell it. It'll hold its value. And essentially all we're paying is $30 for a car seat, after all is said and done. It's like, well, that sounds amazing. Let's do that. So.
Yeah. I feel sometimes I guess anxiety when I shop. So I like to compensate by reselling things to offload the shopping. So I'm like, oh, but it has a good resale value, so it'll be okay. I'll just sell it later.
And it's like,
I was smart.
Yeah,
it really is, because you think of now, like if you use something and it has a high resale value, and a lot of that stuff holds its value because people are going to be doing that. So why not? I mean, I was listening to somebody the other day where they were talking about since they started reselling, it's actually caused the cost of their household to go down because they understand a little bit more about, hey, some things you can buy used. Like I wouldn't want to buy a used breast pump for like myself, but obviously I'm not going to use it myself. But like I said, I would be a little bit more apprehensive, but people do, like, and like you have experienced, people do. And so it's awesome to be able to pick and be able to flip it like that.
I think it's just knowledge too, because like, I mean, there's certain things like I wouldn't sell that's like, personal items, but it's like it's like having knowledge on what you're selling to, because like you could sell breast pumps, but if they're closed system versus open system, there's a difference. So, also having knowledge on like what it is you're buying for yourself and whether or not you can resell that. So for me, like with the breast pump stuff, it's like, okay, I should only be buying like closed system pumps so that later on I can sell it if I want, because they're expensive.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to go buy an open system pump that like you don't want other people to be like using, and other people wouldn't want to buy that from you.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you guys said that just the other day. I had them on the phone and we were talking about that very same thing, because I was like, man, I've sold one new in the pack, like that I got up from Kmart, but I've never sold one like just used. But after I talked with you guys and went and looked at comps, I was like, oh my goodness, like these things are they're nice. Hey Rev, thanks for the super chat, man. I appreciate you. You've always been a great supporter of mine, and obviously getting to hang out with them in person is good. Girl Hustle, thanks for dropping in. Derek, thanks for being here, bro.
Hi everybody. I'm not typing right now because but hi everybody. Well, I see you guys. Dee asked a question.
All right.
Do you find yourself buying higher quality items knowing you can later resell? Well, that's pretty much what I said. We said earlier, we buy things even though it's like it might be kind of expensive and more of an investment, higher quality, because we can resell it later than just kind of buying something cheap and then not really knowing if the value is going to be like worth even reselling. It might just end up in like being donated to somebody, which is not bad either. We do donate a lot of things to like people who need them, like in our family or friends. But for like bigger ticket items, I definitely like to know that I can resell it for hopefully close to what I bought it for.
Right.
More.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely important. If you, it's crazy for us. Like I haven't released the video yet because man, I had to change that software and it's giving me fits right now. But just with my phone, it don't like to work with my phone as good. So, anyway, but the other day, like I told her, I mean, I found a recliner at this estate sale and that thing's sweet. Like I was like, $50. I mean, buy a recliner, it's like $500-$600, like the same quality. So I was like, you can find stuff that you wouldn't normally even think to look for. But when you're out and about, that always helps as well, for sure.
Right.
Regina's down for that. Like, she's never been somebody who was like, we're not super material in the sense of, hey, we got to have, like, you know, everything new out of the pack. Like, we're,
Yeah.
so that's helpful as well.
Yeah.
It's like, it's one of those things. It's like, I guess clothing is a good example, you know, where brand doesn't always dictate value to. So, you know, really that quality aspect of it. And because like we even talk about like blenders and stuff like that, you know. So before even like looking into reselling, like we were already aware of like big brands like Vitamix, you know, and the value that it holds because of its quality over time. You know, I didn't realize how much more you can make just parting out until I saw, you know, Commonwealth Pickers channel.
Yeah.
But like, you know, my mind was already there. Like, oh, that's a brand I need to keep an eye out for. A, because we want one, and B, you know, other people are going to want it because it's such a high quality, you know, piece of machinery.
Yeah. Do you guys buy any vintage stuff like that to where you're like, hey, it's old, but it's still solid? Like, have you done any of that? Looked at any of that kind of stuff? Because Vitamix has like some old blenders that are still quality.
Yeah. Oh, did you hear her say that?
Oh yeah, I said I was looking at them. I just never pulled the trigger, but I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to.
Yeah, I've been doing the estate sale thing here recently, so I'm always bringing home vintage stuff and just looking at it. Some of that stuff is good. Some of it's like, no, we ain't using that. It was some of those things. Myra, thanks for stopping in. Appreciate it.
Hey, Myra. Yeah, no doubt, DC. Saying how resellers kind of just changed the way you look at things. Because the question we find ourselves asking often is, where and can we get it for less? Or, you know, where and can we sell for more? Doesn't always work out that way, but for the most part, you know, if we're trying, especially now, you know, with you know, everything going on, you know, with COVID and just like, you know, the baby, we're just trying to keep a tighter budget of things. So I feel like, you know, everybody told us like, you know, how expensive having a kid was, you know, it's like, well, it doesn't have to be, but I find us, at least me, like I want to buy stuff for him all the time.
Man, Tim, you're killing me, bro. He's already coming with the hard one. Throwing me right under the bus, right out of the gate. How important, this is for you guys, how important do you have reselling activities in separate space to separate home life from reselling?
I don't know, like 30 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. She's saying that for me, I'll get things cleaned up for about 30 minutes and then the next buy comes along and then I'm pulling stuff out. Because like sometimes for me, I don't know if you guys do this, but I know Sam does because you've got a small space. It's harder to keep track of it. But like myself, sometimes I'll bring my stuff in the living room so I can watch TV and like sort through it. And it don't always make it out as quick as what it needs to. Like,
at least you sort through it. Sometimes it just sits there.
Yeah, sometimes it does that too. I move it around to make it look like I sorted through it anyway.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Go ahead, answer the
question. It's very important. I think it's important. I think it's important to have like I mean, just in general, like space for like work and like home. Like a lot of people don't want to bring like work and home like together. Sometimes there has to be some kind of balance, and I think it makes it hard, especially we live in a small like 2-bedroom apartment and we have 2 separate businesses. So to like have everything kind of like smushed together and then all kind of mixed up in our like home life, it kind of does make me feel a little anxious. So I do support him when he's like, oh, I want to get a storage unit. Okay, go get the storage unit. Or, and then I even suggested to him, like, there's a garage, like, right across the street in our parking lot that's like a lot bigger than his storage unit. So I had him like, cancel his storage and then move everything to this garage and like slowly like chipping away and moving things over there. But there's a lot of stuff. But I think once we kind of like get more organized, I'll feel a little better. But he's making it his own, like kind of like a man cave. So maybe he'll keep things over there and like do his pictures and listing there, and then just keep everything kind of separate.
Yeah, because that's what I don't know. Like, I know you have your shed, Eric. So I'm trying to like make it my store being small. Like, I still have enough room where I can like just do an inventory dump, store, and take pictures there. So a little like
maybe
out of sight, out of mind. I don't know. I mean, like things like shoes and certain things that need washing will obviously come in to be washed, but just will force me to not source as much of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, for us, I mean, obviously we got the shed, and then I haven't filled up the shed like completely, but when I bought that big buy, like there's 80 boxes. Like the other day, I mean, just for example, so Tuesday I listed for, I mean, I was on that thing for 9 hours, but I listed for 8 hours. I listed 3 boxes of that in 8 hours. So that has become a mountain for me. Like that, I mean, just being real. Like, I know everybody probably deals with the same stuff. You look at your death pile and you're like, dude, I'm not even putting a dent in this thing. Like, as far as what I'm doing. So, like, sometimes I'll share with Regina. I was like, man, I listed like 3 boxes. And she kind of rolls her eyes like, yeah, okay. You got like 500. Like, let's get to it. But it is, man. It's one of those things. I recognize that the importance of keeping it separate, because we've always been like with our family, and Regina obviously will attest to this. She's always been, hey, let's have our living area like always neat, right? Just living area, kitchen, dining room, like that part. Because we do have a little bigger house, but just if we can keep all that squared away, that way if people come by, like you're not like, oh, let me move all this junk off my couch so y'all can come in here and sit down, that kind of thing. Yeah. And just that way it's domain. But she I failed at that recently.
Yeah. My room and kitchen. That's it.
Yeah. That's all we got squared away right now is our room and the kitchen.
Yep.
So
like all those rooms you described as one room for us. So
yeah.
So, yeah.
One of those things. It's kind of crazy. Ezra is a boss.
I tried to, but not.
It's hard to keep up with having a baby too. So like, it's hard to find time to like. I mean, he sleeps for maybe like half an hour, or like to an hour. So it's like trying to find a little time to like organize a little bit or clean. But then like by the time he's awake again, it's probably gonna be filled up with something else or like just get messed up. So it's like hard to even want to try sometimes. But it's like,
yeah,
I guess that goes into like anxiety and like mental health stuff.
Yeah, like like bringing Tori, it's like 5-10 years, and then it's like messing up and stuff. And now it's me. It's like clean your room and stuff.
Yeah. You stay like cleaning up behind the kids. That's kind of what she's talking about. Like that takes a lot. Like it's like nonstop. And you guys are fixing to get into the once Ezra gets moving around, like and pulling up and pulling stuff off and getting into stuff and climbing the counters and that kind of stuff.
He's like a cat now. You know how cats like knock everything off a leg? Like a cat now. Anything you put on, gone.
Yeah.
Dude, if he's not playing baseball or like lacrosse or a QB or something where he's chucking something overhead, like I failed.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of them things. But that's a fun age. Like people always talk about the terrible twos, but man, like having your kid like when he's little, it's different because it's just maintenance pretty much, like he's gonna cry, you feed, you change, you do that kind of stuff. But then you start to see like now with you guys, the whole personality begins to develop. Like you kind of see how he is interactive, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Well, it's like he just hit like a growth spurt. So like just watching him develop, all the time, like every day is a different day. I think Trish Nana Tink said it. It's not really harder. It's just different. So I don't really know what to anticipate for the day. So it's harder. I don't know about for you guys, like just from a scheduling standpoint. We were like up last night just talking about, how to just, maximize each other's schedules, to the point where like we can kind of support each other, because sometimes she needs help with the baby. She helps me out with like packing packages. I freaking hate packing packages. Like I'll do it and I'm fine at it. I'm not slow or anything. Like it's just one of the things that's like, I don't know.
I like packing packages.
I'd rather go mow grass. Like, you know what I mean? Like I don't.
I like to pack.
So, but that right there is huge. So like, let's say, we time it where like he just got up from his nap. He needs to be changed. Like she can take over packing package for me. We can like do a little swap where she gets a little mental break from the baby. And then as soon as we're done, like packages are done and I can go to the post office and drop it off,
Did you see that? Myra's daughter climbed to the top of the refrigerator to get cookies.
Get it.
We've caught our kids on top of the counter. Our kids were 2 years apart, so they were always like had their own little schemes going when they both got a little older.
Dude, I mean, especially like we talk about like potentially having two, and it's like I know what kind of mischief like my sister and I both got in together. Forget about just one, But he's like curious about everything.
In other ways, it was easier there.
Yeah, it's just
after the initial surge of like the staying up late, all that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
sure.
Now it's like Brandon Tori is like playing. That's it.
Yeah.
But now it's like boy and girl. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. By having two girls, that helped too.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, because they're always tight. But hey, Joe Deals, thanks for coming. Matthew, thanks for being here. Greg, thanks for being here, guys. Appreciate it.
Let me ask you ladies this. Like when Eric and myself were like getting into it, right? Like when we're telling you, hey, we're going to resell or we're going to do this for money. Like what fears did you guys
have? Okay.
Yeah, so because like part of this, like I feel like there are some folks who watch that are single, or like maybe they just have a harder time, communicating with their partners. And Eric and I just happen to be lucky enough to have two partners who turn the other cheek and look the other way, and wears a smile and supports us. But not everybody gets that, and I hear that a lot. So for those folks, like maybe having a woman's perspective, like what were you guys fearful of? Like, where were your hesitations about? Because sometimes like getting into a project, like all I see is like the possibilities and I'm not really thinking about the fear stuff. So.
Well, started was, okay, good. And then it's like,
when it started taking over the house,
it's all like, no, it's like, I don't know.
It was that last call, wasn't it?
Yeah. I bet, honestly, man, this sporting goods haul, she wasn't home and all that was coming in the house.
Yeah.
So it's like me and my dad here, like all the like my mom and them and Regina and the girls had went off. And I was with Dad. Like, I don't know where you guys were. Y'all were off shopping, like Virginia or somewhere.
No, it's
up the beach.
Yeah.
So they came in with that. I think initially when it was secluded to one room, she's like, "Oh yeah, it's good." But then when it started to spill over, plus like Regina attests, like I've always done like hustle stuff. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes she'll just roll her eyes like, "Oh, okay, you're going to try this now," like that kind of thing. So, like, I mean, I know how she thinks about that stuff. It's like, okay, here we go. Let's see if he'll actually like what this is about. But yeah. I think that was probably the way you felt about it.
Well, it was a little bit of a kind of a shock to me, I guess. I was actually the one reselling, and I was the one posting up like my clothes and selling things because I wanted to declutter, because I really wanted to get the house in order before the baby came. I really wanted to get rid of a bunch of things. And then he had this grand like business idea to start reselling and thrifting, and he was on YouTube and watching everything. And I mean, my initial fear is like,
it's all your fault, all you guys.
my fear was just this. It's like, this is exactly the opposite of what I was trying to do. It's like I was like, I was trying to like become more minimalist and just like get rid of like more things and having like just only the things that we needed at home. And then it kind of went the opposite direction. So my fear was just it's just taking over the place. And I personally just feel a lot more anxious when there's like a lot of things everywhere and it doesn't really have a home. So I guess like it was for my own like mental health was my own like just fear of like not being able to cope with it. But I try to be a good sport. I try to help sometimes.
Regina's in your amen corner on that because she definitely feels that same way about all that. Tim is coming with another question too. So Sam, like, how did you guys meet?
You wanna hit his second question first, and then we'll go back to that one because I feel like it kind of flowed with what we were just talking about.
Yep. Okay.
Did you mutually establish any rules before you guys started? Like, if this doesn't work in 6 months, you're getting a real job.
I don't think so.
I don't know. Yeah.
Well, no. Yeah. Go ahead.
It's like what's that thing?
Like, is it going to be able to support us? I think is
yes.
Yeah, it's like, are you going to be able to make enough money doing this? Because, I mean, obviously being older, I mean, we have a mortgage, we have vehicles we pay for, we have, I'm paying some college stuff for Brittany and just upkeep of the house. And where we live, obviously cost of living is a little different than other places in the country. So I think, some of that was in play too. She's like, can we pay the bills like doing this? Initially, when COVID and all that came about, like it kind of changed things for me to where I was like, now I know, and she knows, that we're okay.
Yeah.
Like, we've got through the worst of it, I think. And pretty much I've turned it into a business that's sustainable.
I don't think there was any rules. Like, we didn't come up with any rules. I think it was kind of along the same lines, but since we have like our other business, it was more of, and that is what supports us. It's more of like, are you going to be able to find that balance? And I think it's more so not so much rules, but more like concern. And just giving him some things to think about. Like, are you mentally going to be able to handle it? Are you going to be able to balance like the YouTube and making videos, editing videos? So like filming on top of like running the mushroom farm and social media, and then social media for reselling, and then reselling and listing and sourcing, and just all of those things all in once. And then also being a new dad and then a husband and just finding time for family. So I think it was more like everything all at once and not just like reselling in particular, but just, I think he just took on everything all in once. I was just kind of concerned for him. And I guess it was just expressing my concern to him, are you going to be able to do this? Are you, is it going to be healthy for you? Is it going to work out?
I mean, I would say like as far as like rules go, like that came from discussions. Like, more of kind of what we were talking about before, strategizing, once Ezra was here, how we were going to kind of like, manage everything, and then, make sure that she wasn't like stuck handling the baby alone, and also like kind of just like dealing with each other's, like having this mutual agreement, like we're going to ask each other for help, even though like, we might feel bad for the other person asking them for help because we made some sort of excuse for why they're not available to help us. And then I think too, like we started having discussions, like even though I didn't really rely on it financially, Christina has been in like a relationship where, her partner financially drained them doing reselling, like put them into massive debt. So, there were always discussions about that. What's your budget? What's your plan for the month? What's your budget for the month? Do you want to always do YouTube videos this day? And then kind of the agreements around, like how we were gonna just like spend our time so that like we could try and achieve some sort of balance, with it. So. You think of anything else? Yeah. That's it.
Sorry.
I think in the question, like if this isn't working in 6 months, like you're getting a real job. I think it's a real job,
Yeah.
I wouldn't, so that's not something I would say. It's a lot of work, and especially like watching him try to do it and then also have running another business on top of it, like it's a lot.
Because I mean, for my other business, I had a person coming to help me every Fridays, and I would pay him. And once COVID happened, I lost that help. And then, probably my worst timing was the fact that like I was trying to do it and try and scale it while Christina was like about to have this baby. And, the first and the third trimesters for Christina like were a little harder, so she needed a little bit more of my attention. So there was that kind of stuff, that would kind of hold me back as far as like plunging too deep into reselling, But,
we had a lot of thrifting trips while I was pregnant.
But
Yeah.
she was the one that introduced me. Like, I mean, I've been to thrift stores before, but she's like, "Oh yeah, we go to thrifts all the time."
Yeah.
And it didn't help that like we're literally across the street from a Goodwill. So
yeah, it is crazy because now, like, I see tons of younger people in thrifts all the time. Like now, I said maybe Macklemore is the guy who turned it around, but like I was like, people were talking about the whole thrift shop thing, but it kind of turned things around to where people do that. We actually used to go to some garage sale stuff and thrifts, like just to go, like not really, like just looking for stuff for ourselves. So I was familiar with it. I will say this, like my dad was a pastor. We used to be at some small churches. A lot of times the older people in the church, they'd want to do a fundraiser thrift, like yard sale. So honestly, yard sales, I had more disdain for when I got into this thing because I was like, man,
no way.
I hated yard sales because like as a younger dude, I was having to carry that stuff back and forth a lot of times for church yard sales and that kind of stuff. And I was like, I just don't like it. But now, like yard sales, I'll take over a thrift, like honestly, any day, as far as from a sourcing standpoint, because it's cheaper. But like it's and a lot of times you find random stuff that you wouldn't see elsewhere. But thrift out our way are like saturated now, like with so many people that are trying to do this thing. So there's like I've joked before about how if you hear a cha-ching in the thrift store and like 5 people's head pops up, like you got competition for sure. But,
Tim, you were ahead of your time, by the way. Says he grew up wearing in thrift store clothes. Was embarrassed. Now it's like the trendy thing.
That's what I tell my girls, man. If I'd have told them in high school that we were going to go to the thrift shop and get them clothes, they'd be like, nah. that ain't happening. Now they're like, Dad, if you find anything cool, like shoot me a picture, like that kind of thing.
That's weird.
Well,
But, hey,
Brittany is good for
Brittany, like my youngest, I mean, some of you guys know, like Sam and them know, Brittany played volleyball and stuff. She's like 6'2", so like her clothes shopping's different than most people's anyway. So like when she was in high school, she was different. Like she was
like
sweatpants and shorts and t-shirts. Like she was rolling like that all the time. Then as she's gotten older, she was like, "No, I'm gonna dress up." So we're ordering jeans.
Yeah.
And ordering stuff because ain't nobody got she wears a 38 inseam pant. So, which is insane. I wear a 32.
shoot you in the face from there.
I'm like, dude, that's crazy. It's like where my rib cage starts. Like,
Sounds like, sorry, Brittany, if you're watching, like Dowsing from Street Fighter, the dude that could like stretch his arm out really far.
Yeah.
That's
And Tori's the same way. Like Tori's all legs and arms. She kind of is, even though she's like Tori's what 5'9".
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
So she's like all arms and legs. Like she has a 6'1" wingspan at 5'9", but it's kind of one of those things.
Tori is like shopping.
She's always been more fashionable.
Brittany is a sell.
Nice. She's looking for a bargain. Brittany.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things. Yeah. It's one of those. So I guess going back to Tim's original question, how'd you guys meet? You want to handle that?
No, tell him?
No. So I got into mycology. I started learning how to grow mushrooms. I was really into it, and I started an Instagram to just like show off like what I was doing and how I was doing, like how I was cultivating. And then he added me. He was also growing. We started learning how to grow at the same time. And so we just kind of like started as friends who like chatted occasionally on Instagram about mushrooms. And then what was it? One time we were both in relationships, I think. We were just friends for a while. And then I think one day, I just had randomly asked to like talk to you on the phone because I just hate messaging. And we talked for like forever about nothing, about random things. And then I don't know, we were both in kind of like really bad relationships. I think you were like not dating that chick anymore in like June, and then I was like engaged to somebody, but he, like you guys heard earlier, you just put me in a lot of debt for his reselling. So yeah, and I don't know, he just wasn't a great guy, so he kind of helped me through that. It helped me decide to kind of like let go of that after like 4 years, and then we started dating, and he came to visit in September of 2018. Oh gosh, okay, 2018. And then I visited you in that November.
Yeah, so basically we did a long distance thing for like a while.
He was from Massachusetts.
And like we only met each other face to face twice before we're like, I guess we'll move in together. Let's see what's up. I mean, I've been in enough relationships at that point where I'm like, feels good. Yeah. You know, I'm like, we've hung out together. She doesn't really raise any red flags. I feel like we've had enough conversations on the phone where, you know, you don't get trapped in the lust bubble, you know, and you can actually get to know somebody a little bit better. And we had that foundation as friends. So I'm like, well, we've known each other for like a year, and she doesn't seem like she murders people for fun. Should be worthwhile moving in with her. I'm like, what do I gotta lose? I'm in my 30s. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. So I'm like,
So yeah,
I just packed up my stuff and just moved.
it was New Year's Eve. He just packed up all his stuff and he just drove 18 hours.
After like working a 10-hour day at a Chinese food restaurant, people love their Chinese food on New Year's Eve. And I drove
18 hours.
Yeah.
And then we moved in together. And then we started planning our family. And then here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. 18-hour drive. Yeah, I have a buddy of mine that same thing. Like he actually did that whole thing as well. Like they became friends over the phone. I think it's so important to become friends before you get in a relationship.
No doubt. Yeah.
It is. I mean, I know like there's a lot of throwaway relationship stuff going on in today's time, but you know, really that's not where it's at, because not if you want to have something down the road. Like it's
yeah. I mean, that's, you know, like Christina was saying, like we had both kind of, you know, were either in or just getting out of like not so great relationships, you know, and I mean, it was weird, but I mean, at the time I'm like 32 and I'm thinking, man, I need to like be a little bit more picky about what's, you know, what kind of relationship I want, and actually just even being patient enough to let something develop, you know what I mean? Like, and being okay being single for a little while and do my own thing. So, I mean, it was nice. And I tell everybody this, you know, like you share your passion, you know, you'll find other people there. And I was fortunate that like my passion led me to Krystyna, you know, so.
There you go.
I have Chris. I have watched 90 Day Fiancé.
That's like my guilty pleasure.
What?
Is watching 90 Day Fiancé.
Nah,
I did.
Watch it together.
Regina watches all this kind of stuff.
Like, but the couples like make me want to pull my hair out sometimes.
Yeah.
She's
Hey,
still-
so speaking of reality love shows, like one of the guys from Brittany's school who played sports is on that. What's the love? What's
love?
Was it Love at First Sight?
no,
Wow.
it's
2 words.
Love Island. Is
Yes.
that Love Island.
I've never heard of that. Ow.
Yeah, apparently, it's one that's on. Regina watches The Bachelor some.
Yeah.
Hey, Brandon, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate it, bro. Brandon will actually be on with us next week. Mr. Barbecue himself, smoking flips.
Smoking flips.
Yeah, he.
Y'all, you two lovebirds meet.
Yeah, for us, Regina robbed the cradle is what happened. Like she. No, I started working at Food Lion.
Yep.
And like grocery store when I first moved to the island. Gosh, what was that? 19, 20, 19. Yeah. So I'm working at the grocery store, and she was actually dating somebody at the time, and we just kind of got to know each other through work and hung out.
Yeah.
Enjoyed hanging out with each other. Next thing I know, she dumped that dude. Well,
No.
kind of after we actually went up the road and watched a movie.
Yeah.
And then she dumped that dude. But yeah, so we just knew each other through work, and then we began to get a lot more serious. And yeah, there's actually 5 years difference in us. Like she's older than me by 5 years. So
That's it?
yeah. Yeah.
10, brother. 10.
Oh, okay. Whew.
Nah, Regina's always like, it's funny, her and my sister's the same way. Her husband's like 5 years younger than her. And so, obviously we come from Christian background. So my sister used to always say, train up a child in the way it should go. When it's old, it won't depart. I was like, that's a mess. Yeah.
Oh, you tapped out? Tapping out?
Oh.
No, Nikki, I'm trying to give him his gums massage.
That's the teething ring. Teething ring.
Well, he I'm trying to kind of feel for any irritated inflamed areas too, because those tend to be the parts that bother him, and he doesn't have enough control, manipulate whatever it is that he's chewing on into that part of his mouth.
Yeah.
It's like back because I think his molars are coming in a little bit too. So I'm gonna touch on the back. But like, I don't know. Anybody who's watching the screen is watching him like just destroy my hand.
Yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things.
Yeah.
9 years between me and mine is what Big Bob says.
Hey.
He's right there. Now it's one of the things that we it's been a ride. It's been a journey for sure. Like we both come from a little bit different background, like as far as families and that kind of stuff. So it's got through, but we've we've gone through a lot of ups and downs. But like I said, 25 years in, we're still rolling. So
for you single guys, apparently grocery stores is where it's at.
Yeah.
Colton, man.
Yeah. But I mean, like the other side of it, and like I know, I mean, it takes commitment. Like people are always saying that whole 50-50 is like, no, you got to be all in, like both sides all in.
Yeah,
because marriage is more than just the physical side of things. It's a lot more to it than that. But
and that's why like I even decided to move in. I mean, having lived with different people, just moving in with somebody changes the relationship. So like, I mean, it was one of the ways that the relationship mattered enough for me to try and find out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We've been around for a while now. It's so crazy. So now it's weird when you get older in your relationship, like to where it's kind of almost like mind meld, like I said, I mean, obviously coming from a Christian belief system, man, early on in the Bible, it says the two shall become one. And I used to think that purely in a physical sense, sex, obviously.
Right, sure.
But now it starts to work a little bit more because it's like, man, you kind of know how the other one's thinking about things. Like, Regina's the same way. She can almost like tell things that I'm going to say or do. Like she already knows. Like it's kind of weird, but
I mean, that's why I thought it would be great to have you translate because you probably practically finish your sentences already.
Yeah, sometimes she lets me know that I ain't got it, but she used to tell me, listen to what I mean, not what I say. That's what she used to tell me. So it's been one of those things, man. We it's still love for sure.
That's awesome.
Ezra getting a little word in here or there.
Yep.
He's trying to eat my finger.
That's good. Yeah, Yvette just said that. Yvette said the same thing that we did.
Yeah.
Teeth and ring in the freezer, but like you said, if he can't manipulate it, then it's one of those things.
It doesn't stay in long.
He'll throw it.
Yeah, it doesn't stay in long, so it's more soothing for me just to rub on it.
We have this teether that you put breast milk in. And it makes it into a popsicle, and he go with that. But he gets tired of it after a while.
I think what you need to get. My mom used to do like the cheap version of this, but you can buy those clips. That's a game changer. Where you can clip the ring onto his shirt.
Yeah, this is why we do have one of those.
We have one that like clips fire and stuff. And
like, you know what it becomes with once they start doing that, they throw it in the floor, you get it. Then they throw it in the floor again, you get it. Like they're playing fetch with you, you don't even realize.
I'm making a yo-yo.
It becomes a game. For sure. Hey, Justin, thanks for coming in. Jeremy and George, glad to have you here. Appreciate it. Hanging out with the wives. You guys got any questions? Feel free to drop them in the chat. What in the world did he say here? Putting grocery store, churches, parks, walking the dog, all the places to find.
No, he's not about
it.
Baby.
Oh man. Yeah. They're joking about Rev and Nikki T. I don't know if you've seen their thing, but Nikki T said something about bringing lunch. And he's like, "Do you still need me?" He goes, "Is it okay if I don't bring you lunch or something?" And she's like, "Fine," like that. And he didn't pick up on "fine" really weren't a good thing. Like, really, that, you know.
It's never fine when you say fine.
Yeah,
Fine.
yeah. Nah, when I hear "fine," I know that is not trouble.
Yeah.
That's usually the opposite. That's one of those listen to what I mean, not what I say moments.
That's right.
You pick up on 2 seconds land speed record in the chair. Oh, they're talking about Jeremy going down the ramp. But yeah, other than that, so obviously with you guys, y'all just recently did the wedding. So we am anticipating the video. I know Sam got on yesterday, was talking about that.
Yeah,
About it being,
working on it.
yeah,
He's trying to make it all like fancy, and he's like learning different things
yeah.
on with Da Vinci Resolve. So he's like, watching all these YouTube videos and learning different like editing tricks. So
Well, that's not your normal, like, just, hey, I'm throwing up a what sold or something. That's a pretty big one. So I know there's a little bit more pressure to that than the norm. For sure.
it looks pretty cool from what I've seen so far. So
Yeah. I mean, that's the other thing I've seen with you guys. Like, I hear sometimes, obviously, when talking to Sam a lot, you know, I always hear you in the background, like, talking about things as well. So, you know, just picking up on how you guys work together is cool to see that, like how bouncing ideas off each other or, you know, you definitely give a different perspective than what dudes and girls have a whole different outlook on things for sure. So it's nice to have that. Let's see. Justin talking about Sean Cannell book. So, Krystyna, obviously you have a whole different social media community stuff that you're involved in outside of reselling, which is, you know, what most of these guys are. So, can you talk a little bit about that? Like,
I mostly just am in like family and like I guess like birthing, family, baby stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm a part of a lot of Facebook groups. And I mean, how I found that it kind of blends with the reselling is, I mean, moms need a lot of things, and I mean, everyone's having a baby. There's always somebody having a baby. So I mean,
yeah,
whether it's like baby clothes or items, or some people giving stuff away for free, or babies are being weaned or they're growing up, so things are always constantly like being sold or selling, and also I'm always on Facebook groups to find things that'll make my life easier because it's hard. So you know, I mean, people are probably getting money out of me.
yeah,
So I mean, I don't know, I guess I mean, just also finding knowledge in certain areas, it helps. Like I think I said it earlier, like it helps me to like be more knowledgeable in the things that I like want for myself.
right.
And so later on I can sell it later. And sometimes I find things that like flip like pretty easily. Like I said, like pumping stuff. I wouldn't think like there's that you would make a lot on pumping stuff, but those things are really expensive. And for what? Oh, IKEA high chairs. They sell for a lot, so you could buy them at IKEA for like $19.99. But on Amazon they're selling for $81.
There's a bolo for you, Amazon guys.
Yeah.
We found it for like $10 on Facebook Marketplace. So, and then there's like someone who like designs placemats and covers and stuff specifically for the IKEA high chair, and they resell really well on Mercari. Yeah.
So I was at a state sale this past weekend. I'm trying to pull up the picture of it. Man, you want to talk about something crazy. So this estate sale, everything in that house was vintage, but they had a playpen from probably the 40s or 50s. The thing looked like a rabbit cage. I was like, what is this? It had like tiny screen on it. They said so it'd keep the flies off the baby. And so people were like, they said, yeah, it was wild. It had a top to it, like that had a little latch. So you put the child in there on the little mattress part, and like you basically close them down in there. I was like, man, I was like, is this some kind of kid torturing device that's in here? It was pretty wild. Like I've never seen anything like that. Of course, the older people at the sale are like, "Oh yeah, my mom had me one of those." Put me in there. Well, she's working. So I was like,
you'll be surprised. I mean, I think people just want to find stuff to make their life easier when they have a baby. So they invent these like really awesome things that have really good resale value. Like our car seat stroller, like I can't say enough about it, and it really resells for like $380 to $400, and I think I bought it for $445.
You got a four-year window to sell it,
and you have a 4-year window to sell it because they do have expiration dates.
yeah.
So I would say just like resell it within the year, because I mean the baby will only fit in it up to like 15 months. So, I rather not keep it for the next baby, just resell it.
Mm.
And then, what was it? There was this bassinet that I saw, and I mean, I would never buy it, but it's called the Snoot, and I've seen they sell for like retail is like $1,300 for this bassinet, and it's just like, I don't know, I can't imagine how much that resells for, but. I mean, people will spend good money on things that will make their life easier.
Greg asked us if the IKEA is that the IKEA Antelope.
Yeah,
indeed,
it is.
Good eye.
It's sold out by us. Otherwise, I would have stocked up and not told any of you guys.
Oh man, hey, yeah, you see that stuff.
Oh.
For us, honestly, when our kids were little, we found this seat.
Oh yeah.
It's actually like a bath seat. So it has like the locking in front part, and it's got suction cups on the bottom. That was like a game changer for us. Like, because you could actually you could stick that thing about anywhere, and like it would kind of give you a firm place to where you didn't have to. So you could actually put it. We'd sometimes have it on the kitchen counter, like just pop it up, and then the baby's there, like you're washing dishes or doing whatever. Like that was such a game changer for us. Like, and I don't even know. I've not even seen one exactly like that.
Yeah. Now it's not foam.
They're foam. The one in the bathtub.
Yeah, we have it's called a bumbo. It's like it's a little floor seat, and we just stick him because like he doesn't want to lay down anymore, so he just wants to sit up all the time, but he can't sit up by himself yet, so we have to kind of just stick him in that thing, so he just like stops crying to sit up.
I saw somebody the other day. Actually, my cousin has one of those little. Like old school, we had the walker. That has the little ring, and you has the little seat they get in, and their feet are touched. They run around like before they can walk. This thing is like it's almost like setting them on top of a Roomba. They're sitting there, and the thing it does the same thing. It maps and goes around. Their little baby, it's older than Ezra, probably by 3 or 4 months. But it's in there riding around in that thing, just going on. I was like, that's the wildest thing I've ever seen. But yeah, it's pretty interesting. There's a few more people that have popped in. Let's see. Dragon Value Home, thanks for coming in.
Chris.
Back Bitter Chuck. See, Sam still knows everybody's name. Like I blank on people's names occasionally.
Yeah, he's so good. I'm always like, who's this? Who's that? He's like, I know who that is. I know who this is. He's like, I'm like, oh, I can't keep up. There's just too many people.
Yeah, Sam's always
I
got
don't think everybody's channels. So
the names. Yeah, there's so many for sure.
I try.
he would just like, I mean, he would just have his AirPods in, and like, I would just look at him, and he's watching somebody selling video or live stream, and it'd be like 4:00 in the morning, and I'm like waking up, and there's like this bright light, and I'm like, is that like, what is this? It's a live stream. Somebody live streaming at like 4 in the morning.
Well, I mean, I like to learn. You know? What are you gonna do? Like, I enjoy it. But
Hey, ooh,
Spider-Man,
he's smiling. He's happy.
he likes being upside down. Well, I'm just kidding.
No, he doesn't. Oh, now he does, I guess.
Oh man, I remember like with my kids, I'm always doing that. Like we had to just grab them, move them all around. Like,
Dude.
people are like, oh my gosh, freaking out!
I
Like,
can't wait to wrestle with him. Like my brother-in-law like messes with him all the time. I'm like, you wait until he gets big. I can't wait till he messes you up.
Yeah, it's fun, man. The kids are, always a good time.
Yeah. So all right. So I guess right. It's hard, you know, especially now. Like you think about people going through, you know, gender identity stuff and gender biases and gender roles, right? Like I find that, you know, when we were talking, Christina and I have been talking, like, you know, knowing that he's anatomically a male, right? I don't know what he'll identify as, but like I have already, you know, made him a boy, you know, like I'm treating him, I'm like way rougher, you know, and I feel like I would be way more delicate with a little girl, but I don't know.
Nah.
I don't think I would be.
Nah.
I think I'd still flip him. And
you know, for me, like my girls actually grew up. They're pretty tough. Well, see, Regina has 3 older brothers, and she's the youngest. So she's more like, you know, we used to call it tomboys. Like now, you might get in trouble for saying that. I don't know, but I'm not up on the lingo with what everybody says. But
we're still okay to say.
Yeah, but Regina's like, you know, she was an athlete coming up, and like just the whole thing. So with our kids, we kind of like our kids weren't the cheerleader type. Like they just weren't into that. Like they came up, they were rough and ready, and like I mean they're still women. Like they still have, you know, feminine traits, and they definitely are about dressing up and stuff now that they've got older, and like, but at the same hand, they're like they're ready to go as far as like they didn't think nothing about wrestling or, you know, when they were younger.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that they're not going to be tough. I'm talking about my own behavior around them. You know what I mean? Like that mental, like, oh, it's my little girl. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'll just toss them around just as bad as
they like that stuff, man. Throwing them up in the air and catching them and all that kind of stuff. Like, I'd be carrying Tori. Like, well, Tori's my first. You know, so I'm carrying her around like a football half the time. Like I just got her tucked in, you know. Or like sometimes they'll be like, "Oh, you got her head? Yeah, I got it right here in the palm of my hand." Like,
I guess because like, you know, the friends of you know, my college buddies who've had little girls, like, dude, I've watched them turn into little softies. You know, they're the hard asses. You know, they couldn't be told nothing in school. One's a cop too. Yeah, man. But once that little girl's in front of him, putty.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that still happens. Like, and it's funny. Like the girls have, they both have different ways that they work. Like, and for me, it's kind of crazy. Like the girls have always been. There's certain things that they go to their mom about. There's certain things they come to me about. Like it's one of those things. Mm-hmm. It's and some of them, like me and Tori always kind of butted heads because we have the exact same personality. Like we want to
hair.
But the girls are like, if you saw them, like they definitely take on our characteristics.
Yeah.
It's like a bring Tori school. Okay, Tori's like, man, it's like, come on.
Yeah,
and
she's tough.
Bree like crying and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, you did. You've told me that in the past.
Now it's not like.
Now it's the opposite.
Really?
Like, come on.
Yeah.
daughter's sister's like, come on, get me,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah. Brittany's of course, like she's intimidating to most people anyway,
Yeah.
but they both like, if you mess with one, you get both of them. Like,
Yeah.
that's just how it's gonna go down.
Awesome though. That's what I'm most excited about, is seeing what his personality is like. But
For sure. Well,
Yeah.
some of that too. Like, I mean, kids are molded into that stuff as well.
Yep.
Like, you know how you're brought up affects how you are later on.
No doubt.
For sure. Tim asked a question about how to level up in the reselling game in the future. Amazon, large bulk buys, high value items, all of the above.
Yeah. I mean, Tim, I think when I envision it, especially when Christina and I have talked about even just expanding my own business, I have two problems to solve. Well, one for my main business is space. I need the space, and that if I solve that, I solve the second problem for reselling.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I guess, what you're asking is the sourcing part, because, the selling and listing part, no big deal. It's where you're going to get it, right? I have a whole family of in-laws that are in like the mortgage business and stuff. And I just I flirt around with the idea of like just trying to get into real estate and just home clean outs and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like get paid to kind of clear out people's home and kind of get a bunch of cool stuff that you can flip. I mean, there's that one ridiculous deal that, what was it? Chris Daly Refinement did back in the spring, man, where he had this ridiculous estate sale that he went to. So much stuff that he went and had part-time pickers come and pick up a bunch of stuff, and they each made their whole own video out of it. So I think that would be the best bet. I mean, it's a pipe dream, but where, I'm not actually paying, someone's paying me to get rid of their stuff that I'm going to sell. So it's like I'm double dipping. All right.
Yeah.
Regina's a cat fan. So
I got 3 of them.
Yeah. She, for myself, what I think you're talking about too, I've thought about this too, like how to up your game. I mean, obviously I think there's more to it than just, I've been watching some stuff lately about kind of being the middleman and some things, maybe doing some wholesale. Because even at what you're saying, like the trick is if you're doing clean outs, man, if you got somebody that take that low hanging fruit, that bottom barrel stuff, then you got somebody kind of that would take some of the middle, like, hey, if I know, just like how you've got a guy, right, that he's like, oh, I know Sam wants this. Like if I pick this up, I can just call him, he'll come and get it.
Yeah.
Like I'm the same way. I think about, man, if you had multiple guys that you could be like, hey, I got this. And then you got the people that are going to take, say, if you had somebody, I'll take all the clothing you get, like, whatever, pay you, whatever. I mean, because I think that's some of it, because ultimately, man, as one person, you can only do so much.
No doubt.
There's only so much time in the day. There's so it's either got to be, you got to cut some time from somewhere. For myself, Tim, how it's worked lately is I honestly only go sourcing like maybe once a week, like once or twice a week. Like used to, I was going 4 and 5 days a week. Like now that I've kind of got a steady stream of stuff that I can get that's quality, like I don't really, as bad as it hurts to not go to the thrift and see what's in there or go to every garage sale that pops up in my area, just because I've tried to back off a little bit and say, hey, I can go. Like I am going to release this video. I know I said that I'd have it out yesterday, but I've got like my latest haul, and it's all vintage stuff for the most part. There's one VCR it's new in the box. It's $100 and some. There's a RCA Victor, like some things that I don't even really know a whole lot about. But I was like, man, I'm looking at stuff saying that's cool, that's cool, that's cool, and then I'm looking it up. Yeah, you did okay. Like one of those things. Starting to get an eye for it. But I think, either changing how you source, maybe looking for higher items, or, I mean, you still got to have, if you're buying bulk, you got to have a way to get rid of the low.
No doubt.
that you ain't got time to fool with? You can either lot it up, sell it like that, or
you actually, I don't know if you meant to, but like you actually just sparked a flow of thought in my mind, man. Like even going through that, right? Even the cleanouts and stuff. Like if I ever want to pivot and I don't want to deal with any of eBay or Macari or whatever platform is relevant at the time to decide this, and I don't want to mess with their stuff, and I just want to be the guy. And I just want to lump sum sell. Like, I don't want to deal with nothing. I don't want to sit in my house forever. But I know a guy who doesn't mind having it sit in their house forever. So let's just call them up. So I can see it. I can see it going the other way. And having talked to some of the veteran resellers that I've bumped into in yard sales, like that's kind of the gist I'm getting is like they started off, collecting, and then it went to reselling. And after a while, they just had so much. Now they're the guy.
Yeah.
So,
you think like other people we know that have kind of started getting into that a little bit? I mean, like people within our own community that, I mean, look, now you got Cincinnati Picker. He did that big buy. So what did he do? He started a big cartel. Like he's selling wholesale lots to resellers essentially. And then you see, I mean, even Kat, like she's done that a few times. Like she's had a freebie guy that's come and got all the stuff she don't want to deal with, and then she's got other people doing wholesale lots, that kind of stuff. But if you like, especially if you're doing clean out, I think Sean's done clean outs before, and you talk about that same stuff. It's like, man, if you had somebody else, a way to get rid of each thing that you have, like my guy. I mean, it's crazy because now that I've had developed this relationship, now I see the other side of it. I was like, this guy, I mean, his margin may be lower on items, but he's not dealing with it, right? So time is money any way you look at it. So if you could just say, hey, I'm going to wholesale out this, I'm going to get rid of this all at one time, and I'm going to make X on it, like say if I bought everything a buck a piece and I'm making 3 rather than making 10, then obviously that's going to be a good way to go as well. Hey, Bill Tackett, thanks for the super chat. Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah, thanks, Bill. Appreciate you, man.
Yeah, he said he's been thinking on you, Sam.
Yeah, I appreciate all the people who have left kind messages on Instagram and YouTube. I appreciate you guys. You're awesome. But yeah, man, I just, even, Tim says, sounds like, you're like estate sale people. But yeah, I mean, even like my guy, that's what he does. He buys out storage lockers and he can't be bothered trying to list one at a time. And I think the best example of, kind of doing both is Mr. Buys a Lot. Brian running an eBay store with a lot of items, thousands of items, with 3 million inventory still waiting to be listed, and people just either knock on his door to buy in bulk or constantly calling him to sell him something in bulk. I mean, some of the propositions he shows me sometimes, it's ridiculous. So, to be that guy, where opportunities on both ends are coming to you, that I mean, if you think about it from a marketing standpoint, right? Like if you didn't have to do that, and people just found you and came to you all the time, how much smoother would your day go? Like how much, like why you source once a week now, right? Why? Because your guy's like, hey man, what are you doing? This day, this time, this house, this stuff, be there. Like, you're like, okay. And you don't have to worry. Like, man, I didn't find anything this thrift, in this thrift store this time. Like, I guess I'll go back tomorrow and try something else. Or like Rinzi, they got to go to like 20 thrift stores sometimes in a 100-mile radius just to like fulfill their sourcing needs sometimes. And that can be arduous too.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's part of it too. It's like, I mean, so somewhere along the line, you have to save time. So it's like, for me at this point, sourcing was kind of the easier one to do because at this point, I haven't found anybody that could help me list more or ship or any of that kind of stuff. So like, I've tried to find some people that I could do. My nephew and them, they do a little bit, but that's, it helps. Don't get me wrong, it helps, but it's not like a consistent thing. Like they're not pulling a Brian, like got some dude listing 1,000 items a week. Like it ain't that kind of stuff. But you know, the whole side of the wholesale, it kind of falls into multiple streams of income at that point, right? Because if you're getting paid to do clean outs, you're getting paid to do clean out. Now you're making money on the bulk and you're cherry picking the rest and got your little store. Like, that's a way to go for sure. I mean, it's not the only way to go. There's tons of ways to make money reselling, but it's an idea.
Yeah. And then, so I think the third thing, man, like, you know, we talk about, you know, where to put it, where to get it from, you know, who's going to help us. Because that I think that has been my problem, even with my own farm, man. I am my own bottleneck. You know, like she's like my, you know, pressure release valve, and I'm super grateful, like, to have her just help me, you know, whatever she can do when she can. But like, yeah, man, I think about anybody who has scaled up or is scaling up. That seems to be the next logical step is, you know, besides expanding what I'm going to get, expanding the manpower to get it up on the internet to be sold, you know?
Yeah. Sal was talking about, he did a clean out for free because where people couldn't do auctions during the COVID, they were cleaning out storage units. So that's cool, man.
That's fire, dude.
Yeah, if you can get into that.
Dude, someplace $200 might just get you that storage locker, you know what I mean? So what's going on, Dave?
Dave, thanks for coming in. Me and Ken are actually going to an auction in the AM.
Get it.
Crazy stuff, man. Like phonographs and like old iron toys. Yeah, 2 Edisons, like the wax stuff. Like, man, I'm actually geeked up about that. Not that I collect anything, but dude, how cool is it? Did
we lose you? Uh-oh. Like, I think Eric is frozen.
Did we come back?
You're back now. Okay.
Are we good?
Yes. You're good now.
Yeah. So that it's one of those things. I think you talk a ton about this, but you know, to do it on here is a little different. You know, leveling up. Like, I think that's but being consistent, just like everything else, right?
Yeah. Well, you know, where was I? I think I was at Louis' thing, you know, because you know, in my mind, running any business, I don't want to run a business like how my parents ran a business, where you're an entrepreneur, but really you're the only employee. You're just, you know, the only employee at a store. You're not really a boss. You're just the only employee. So finding out how to get stuck, you know, because anybody who is an entrepreneur, you figure out how to automate it, right? And be able to step away from it so that, like, it doesn't lean on you only. And that to me is like when you've kind of like done well, where you can kind of step back, it's automated, it's doing its own thing. So then you can work on other projects. I know Jeremy, what the hell, he's, you know, I know that's kind of part of his philosophy, you know, master one thing, you know, put 5 years into it or whatever amount of time it takes for you to get it automated, and then move on and you continue to build on that. So that's something to think about. When I was on Louis' show earlier in the week, you know, we talked about mindfulness and, you know, just your perception on good and bad. Like, you know, I spent a lot of time even thinking about like interviewing questions. Like, you know, if I wanted somebody to come on, right, and let's say like I'm hiring them to do a listing for me, you know, they're like, maybe their picture taking skills are crap, but like, well, I'll say something like, you know, man, the weather is like just awful today, you know, what do you think? You know, and I'll give them a negative bit of information. I'll see what they do with it. Do they run with it? Like, oh my gosh, I can't believe how nasty it is out. It's terrible. I wish the sun would come out or this. Or you're going to take that negative and you're going to turn it into a positive. Because if you can do that, like, oh, you know, yeah, I know it's bad, but it's supposed to get better a little later. At least you can do blah, 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 blah. And so that right there, that one question, how that person handles it without asking them stupid stuff like what's your strength and weaknesses, already kind of gives me a sense of what their personality is like. You know, because it's hard to, because people don't expect that kind of stuff when you're interviewing them. They think you're just talking about the weather. But because I think that, you know, besides finding help, and I know that's what, you know, you're thinking about, Eric, is quality people. I don't want to just hire some bum off the street, because that's my business, you know. I want quality employees too. So, and it's the Sam and Christina show. So I don't know how you guys feel about that. We're going to hold it down until Regina and Eric come back. Thank you guys for tuning in. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. But yeah, I think of my three main problems with scaling is space, where to get it from cheaply, and help getting it out. You know, whether it's listing, taking pictures, writing descriptions, organizing, and then shipping and all that stuff. So
Had to reboot.
yeah, you can, but you know, it's like logistically, you know, how do you try and work through that, but it gives you something to aim at besides just like, I want to grow. And the only, like, when I hear people talking about growing, all it seems like I'm just gonna get a bigger space and more stuff. But like logistically, you need somebody to handle more stuff. So
yeah, I mean, you think about like just the and because once you get a death pile, and just from personal experience, like it's harder to get down into it, because you think, okay, like yesterday I picked up probably 50 items, and I don't. So now tomorrow, if I go get 20 more items and don't get everything listed, then what? I'm just growing it. Like versus, you know, I mean, obviously it's great to have, but the same hand, if it's still just sitting there, that's your money sitting there with that bag.
still cutting out a little bit, Eric. Still kind of like phasing in and out.
I think it's clearing up. I'm going to reboot one more time and see what happens.
Okay. I didn't want to skip over what Shasha said. I can't really highlight your comment, but yeah, I mean, getting creative. I mean, I'm friendly with all of our maintenance guys at our apartment complex, and like they know to like wait to throw stuff out in front of the dumpster. They give me about until 10 o'clock. Once 10 a.m. passes, then they know it's fair game to toss it. They know if I've walked past the dumpster already, looked at anything, sized it up, because they see me like walking back with like TVs and stuff. So yeah, definitely get creative and talk and communicate with people. You know, let them know, because you might be surprised. Like now that we've told our family, how many family members come out like, I'm either like, yeah, he's picking and he's got a garage full of stuff, or can you help my mom sell all this stuff?
I mean, it's not Uncle Ricky, but you know, if you guys know Uncle Ricky, but I have an uncle, and he's a reseller without reselling. So he comps things, and he likes to source things, and he fills his garage with all kinds of really, you know, things that would make a lot of money, and decorate his house with it, but he doesn't sell anything. But he's trying to like find someone who will sell it for him.
Yeah,
so maybe Sam.
No, I am not going to be a professional lister. But that's what they like. They're like, maybe Sam can. I'm like, if I'm going to list it for you, how about you sell it to me for cheap in bulk, and then I'll do the listing.
I get some cool free stuff though. Like they're just gonna give away, and they're like, oh, you know, when they move, they're like, I don't want this anymore. I'm like, okay, I'll use it, you know, and then when I'm done with it, we'll just sell it.
Yeah.
And they're gone.
I have, Tim, actually before this whole COVID stuff started, I was actually going to like meetup.com and seeing what real estate investors, realtors, local realtors were around and what kind of clubs they had. Because I was also, before I was getting into reselling, like I was entertaining the idea of like picking up another career, either becoming a loan officer. And I was like geared up. I had all the study materials. I was, getting ready to take the test. I also played around with trying to get my real estate license, but, baby came, and then I got heavy into reselling. So, but I've, like you said, I definitely think getting in there and talking to those guys, like, will open some doors for me. Let's see, what did Shasha say? Oh yeah, with that was like one of Christina's things that she said to me. She's like, see how close the garage is to the dumpster? You can put all your stuff there.
Instead of bringing it in the house.
Hint.
Because he like brings this, like, he brought this huge computer monitor. I'm like, where'd you find that? It's like the dumpster. Like, does it even work? And then it's like still in the room, and it doesn't work. And it has yet to go to the trash again.
That's heavy. But I found a TV the other day, so that was like awesome.
The TV, shelving. Find a lot of good stuff though, but some stuff ends up in our house that doesn't leave. So I think it would be good to drag it to the garage.
So,
anyways,
my final question to you ladies is, how has your husband's reselling benefited you?
I get cool stuff.
Regina's the same way. I
Yeah.
like I brought home it's funny, I sent an IG message to like Colton and all the guys I went to the 411 with, like we're in a group text, and I sent them an IG text to the recliner I picked up, and they're like, man, are you reselling that? I was like, nah, that was for Regina. Like that, that weren't going anywhere.
So last one was a week.
The drainer.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got a drainer like a while back, like for the kitchen, like practical something. She like ours was starting to go.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, there's a drainer right there, like pick up stuff. So I do, and occasionally there's things I know she wants, like it's something she actually wants. We got our like most refrigerators in the US, right? The first thing that go in the refrigerator is the ice maker all the time.
Oh, I know.
So ours went, and but Regina likes the soft ice, like Sonic and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, the chewable kind.
Yeah, the pellets, the crushed.
Man, we rolled into a estate sale one time, and we went there the first day. I went back another day, and they had. I hadn't went in the small appliance room because you know how most people get gadgets for everything. But I went in there, and lo and behold, sitting there like with a halo over it. And,
He's like,
the moment is a ice maker that makes the smaller cube ice, like the little round ones that you can chew. Yeah. Awesome. So that thing was in there for $10. I was like, yeah, we could do that. That's like $100 item. And I don't have to get our ice maker repaired. We just have it sitting on the counter. Because I don't use ice myself, but
but your mom and dad,
she likes it. And then when my parents are around, they like it. So it's nice things. So
I would enjoy it if I was in your house. So
yeah.
Well, when you guys come out for the visit.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
I think it has benefited me because he's a little more he's more understanding of like my shopping. I love to shop, but I also like, because he's a reseller, it's easier for me to be like, hey, I really want to buy this really expensive thing, but don't worry because I comped it and I can sell it for this much later. Or like, I got it for a really good deal secondhand somewhere,
So it's great when I come at her with the same conversation. That's
Yeah.
like, okay.
Yeah,
But,
we like he's like, oh, I want to buy this, and I can't really say anything. So it works both ways because like when I want to buy something, he can't really say anything either.
yeah. No, and I think it boils down to, I mean, I'm sure you guys have, with everything, like the trust factor, like, I'm not like, I know you're going to be responsible with it, and I trust whatever plans you have, with it as far as like selling it, getting use out of it. I don't care. It's like, as long as you're happy wife, happy life type of deal.
Yep.
That's how it works. Yeah, I can honestly say, man, and not just to say it because we're here on YouTube, but I've told Regina in the past too, like on numerous occasions. But man, she has been so supportive of me, like whatever harebrained scheme thing I've got going on at the time. Like she's always been like sometimes apprehensive, but like she's always even though, like I said, with communication being a little bit different now and her not always being able to say exactly what she wants, but it is one of those things to where she'll be like, she'll make me think on some things sometimes. Like she'll ask a question about, well, what about this? Have you thought about this? Or, something like that. But at the end of the day, but she said, end of the day, basically she trusts me to handle whatever needs to get taken care of.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things, I definitely appreciate that. And I've had times where I needed a little kick in the pants, and she has to remind me on that as well. So it's good, man. It's good to have a supportive wife. And it's great to have someone that, like I said, when you can encourage people, each other, and, like without being a jerk about it, and it's encouraging to say, hey, maybe you need to consider this. There's been times where Regina's kind of dropped the hammer and said, hey, okay, like this needs to be, and I needed it, because I'm like procrastinating on it. So, it's one of those things. But
no, I mean, it's definitely, I guess, communication is helpful too. Like as far as not just like sharing, but like being open to receiving it, because it's like, you think of, oh, well, they're supportive, and some people hear that it's like, oh, they just kind of go along with it. But like sometimes, where Krystyna helps support me too, is she might tell me things that's uncomfortable to hear. Now I might not want to hear, but it's like the truth, and I need to hear it. Like I guess that's what you mean by kicking the pants.
Mm-hmm.
But like, and we're in a place in our relationship where I'm not like, oh, she is out to get me. It's like, okay, she, after the emotional initial upset, it's like, I know she's looking out for me. How, is there some validity to what she's saying? Like, do I need to invest more time in thinking about it? Usually answer is yes. And it, kind of opens my eyes, kind of pulls away the mask a little bit, so you can kind of have a little bit more clarity about things. So yeah,
for sure. Tim would ask along the Eric's line, how do you handle strong disagreements relative to reselling, and if you have any? Well, we obviously have some, and it has to do with stuff being in the house and not in the shed. So it's one of those things, but she's been patient. I mean, with that, I mean, she does get on my case about, okay, like she's ready, and I'm working towards that. I'm not there yet, but working towards being responsive. So, but that's probably the biggest thing with us, with reselling. She don't really care about the whole, buying stuff or whatever. And she's like, really buy as much as you want, but just don't have it in the living room or the dining area or that part of the house. Like, take care of it.
Nodding.
Yep.
So I guess we handle it okay. We're still speaking to each other, so we're in good shape.
Yeah, I mean, that's important,
But yeah,
I mean that's as long as that's humans. You can't agree on everything. It'd be super boring if that was it.
Mm-hmm.
Because on top of like, I mean, I try never to get to that part where like strong disagreements and stuff are happening, because like, just like Regina's patient with you, Christina's patient with me, and we're both trying to be mindful. Well, like before we bring it in the house, we already anticipate what our wife's going to say. We're not stupid. Before we make that buy, we're already envisioning it in the living room and the potential disagreement.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we're
Come on.
it's not really empty upstairs, but at the same time, it's having that communication. Some like if I'm buying stuff, Christina most of the time is there with me.
Yeah.
And if it's in the living room, I can't say it's true for everything. I try and just at least have a conversation with her about where it's gonna go, where we're gonna put it, and what my plan is for it. Sometimes the plan doesn't happen, she reminds me, but there's a plan, no less.
I heard that. Hence the recliner and the ice maker and all that, because then that's the other side of stuff. Like yesterday, I knew when I bought that recliner, I was like, man, this will actually buy me a couple of days of being able to. She knows. This is like the smooth over right here. Yeah.
Yep.
Now I just got to get the stuff off of it so she can actually set it.
Yeah.
But one of those things. Yeah.
I mean, it's just like being mindful of stuff, and hopefully, you kind of talk and work through stuff before it gets to that strong disagreement, and you're kind of open and honest. But when in doubt, bribery is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I feel like that with me.
What? That I need to bribe you? You literally just told them that, like, I let you buy stuff and like don't turn a blind eye to it.
I know, but you he got the recliner. So like, have you ever been like, oh, I'm gonna buy her this, and then like maybe she'll like ignore me for a couple of days?
No, it's not that. It's like if I bring something home though, and you're like, ooh, I could use these. I'm like, sweet. Hey. In my mind, because you're like, because there will be things that like I'll bring home. It's just like, oh, I can use that. I'm gonna take these. Or like when I was sourcing shoes heavy, she would try them on a little bit. She's like, oh, you're so lucky they're not comfortable.
That's what I was gonna say. I'm like, those shoes, you didn't want me to keep those shoes, but they weren't comfortable anyways.
Yeah. I'm like the prophet.
Yeah. Today is like 4 or 5 Swice water right there.
Yeah.
And it's like, I think that.
Dude, I found these old vintage fly swatters, like they have like advertising and stuff on them. And I don't know if they're even worth anything, but I was like, they're cool. They're shaped different than normal. So like I'm in there in the living room, like going through all my stuff, like, and I'm like, man, I know there was another fly swatter somewhere. Like, I went back there. I said, hey, did you take? We call them fly flaps. Like that's what I've always called them since I was a kid. So did you take one of them fly flaps? She's like, maybe. One of those things. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. But it is one of those things. I mean, the girls come up and go shopping if they're around. Like they come in the reselling cave or whatever we got, or if they've seen me pick up something cool, they'll be like, oh man, we could use that. But the other side of things, do you get family members that are like, hey, if you see this like that, I'm interested? I get that all the time now that people know. Like they're always like, my sister has me looking for stuff. Like one of my cousins has me looking for something. Like it's always like, hey, if you see that, shoot me a picture, that kind of thing. So
yeah.
Well, Tim said bribery.
Pick it up for me. All right.
Yeah, it's cool. $5. No, I'm just messing.
You're making me your personal shopper. You gotta pay me.
Yeah. That's the thing. I've sold things to family members that want it. I sold my Xbox to somebody in the family. I'm like, all right, you saved me in shipping and fees.
It's one of the things. I mean, Regina don't always go with me shopping.
Yeah.
But sometimes she does. Sometimes she don't. Depends on how early in the morning I get up.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, hey, I'm leaving tomorrow at 5:30. Yeah, by yourself. Like,
Well, look, like bring Tori to school, okay? It's like 6 o'clock every day.
Yeah.
Until Tori's
Till they graduated.
Yeah.
Moved on.
Now it's like I'm looking I'm
Sleeping in.
Yeah, until 6, 7, 8.
Yeah. So it's all dependent on how late, or how early I'm going. Like tomorrow I'm leaving at 7:15, so she's not going.
Funny.
But, plus, she don't like the auction. Like going to the auction.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, she loved. I mean, we were joking for a while, when she was pregnant and I started reselling. I'm like, it'll be good cardio just to kind of get you out and stuff. She enjoyed going to the thrift store anyways, so it was kind of a bummer when COVID hit and we couldn't really go out like that.
Mm.
Yeah, there. Dude, this guy sent this guy the wrong VCR, off by one number.
Nah.
Yeah. So he filed a return. I sent him a thing. I was like, "Look, man, I can mail you out the other one on Monday."
Yeah.
Do that. So he's like, actually, I've been playing around with this one. I think I want to keep it, but he's already filed a return. So now I got to figure that out.
All right. But, dude, I got approved for my claim for the golf club.
Nice.
I'm like, yes, $42. I made money on that.
Yeah.
Thanks, USPS.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I still can't believe. Hey, now you can just put an amendment to your video.
I'm gonna, you know what? I'm gonna make that TikTok video. I'm gonna produce it and then spoof myself in another video about it. So I'm like, well, I have no business making how to ship a golf club video. Look at this. Okay.
Yeah.
I haven't even opened it up. I got it back yesterday. I haven't even opened it up to do anything about it. And I was complaining about it to the USPS guy. He was like, dude, you should open it up and see if somebody can fix it and then try and resell it again. I'm like, that's a good idea.
Well, I mean, I've told you, the other day, I had one of my lawnmower belts returned.
Mm-hmm.
And literally, I picked it up from the post office. I relisted it, and it sold the same day. I actually just put it right back in a bag, rolled it right on back up. But yeah, 2 labels and shipping.
Oh
yeah, and I've done that. And honestly, I thought that's what I'd done on this, but I actually just sent him the entirely different unit. I've got a ton of combo units right now.
Yeah,
because the last few estate sales I've been going to, I mean, some of these jokers have them in every room.
That's awesome.
I've just been picking them up like crazy. So, yeah.
Yeah, I got 4 VCRs I need to list. Yeah, I came across the other day. I was like, oh. So I've just been watching old movies and stuff.
It's has a tube instead of a record.
Okay.
Yeah. It's OG. Dude, the handles on the Edison sell for $50.
Yeah, you were telling me, man.
Yeah, I'm stoked on that.
I can't wait to see all the vintage stuff that you come across. So,
of course, I'm going with Ken. So I was like, dude, we might be bidding against each other. I don't know if he's still in here. Listen,
how big of a car are you guys bringing?
Well, we got it. I know better now than to go in Ken's because that means a second trip for me. So usually we're going on the van.
Smart.
Hey, but I tell you something wild that those guys have. They have these little motors. This big, for toy boats, model boats, but they're like Johnson motors. Yeah, they're $100, $200 a piece.
Yeah, you were telling me about those over the phone.
Dude, that's wild, man. Some of that stuff they got at this tons of iron toys. If anybody knows about iron toys, I'll shoot you some pictures on IG if you're into that vintage stuff.
Yo, Ken's bringing a Suburban. Look, he's bringing a Suburban. You'll be all right.
Oh, he's bringing a Suburban.
I don't know what you guys are picking up.
He's planning on buying it.
I hear him cracking his knuckles and stretching his neck. He's like, let's go.
Dude, he's a kid. I will say one thing about Ken, man. He researches a lot more than I do. A lot more than I do.
Yeah.
And, so like he's actually taking all these pictures and breaking them down, and he's got like his auction list for tomorrow already working. Which I'm like more fly by the seat of your pants kind of stuff now. When I first started getting into it, I'm like, yeah, I'm onto it. But there's what I've been doing is I look at the pictures and see what's like very unique or odd, hoping that I can pick something, that nobody else will care anything about that's actually worth something at the auction. That's kind of my strategy. But he's doing it the smarter way. He's got like things that are looking at each item and go ahead and look it up and see where it's at. And then got his little catalog where he goes in and says, hey, is this? Because the auction house has 0 cell phone reception. Like, I don't know if they did that on purpose or what, but you're blanked out when you go in there. Shasha,
I gotta figure out. I have one like home video that I need to try and convert digitally. I think there's a way that you can convert them to a digital media file from VCR. I don't know.
What is it?
Yeah, I told Ken, I said, I got enough inventory. So I told him, I said, because he's like, what do you want to do? You want to go to yard sales or do you want to go to the auction? I was like, dude, I've got enough inventory. You choose what you want to do. And then
that's hilarious.
Yeah. He's never been to the auction, so it'll be fun. Like, I mean, he hasn't been to this auction. I think he's been to old farm stuff before. But.
Yeah. I've actually never been to an auction. I feel like that'd be cool.
Dude, it's fun, man. It's what usually happens. Usually, this auction is right now, like when we're on live most of the time, like on a Friday. But pre-COVID, they were doing it then, and then we started our show during COVID. So now they're back to doing auctions, and we have the show. So I don't never make it over there for that, which I don't like. If I'm going to source heavy, like the auction ain't the place to do it. Like usually I'll leave there with a handful of things. But like this auction is a little special. Like there's a little bit more to it than the average. And, but then like I'd rather go to the estate tag sale rather than a state auction. The experience is fun, but dude, you sit there for like 3 or 4 hours and it's like, if it's stuff you're not interested in, like you're kind of just like looking.
It's like roll call graduation type of deal. You're just like waiting.
Yeah. You're like, hey man, is it my turn yet? Like, can I buy? Or if you get dumb people in there doing weird stuff. Like I've told you guys my auction story about the first time me and Regina went. Yeah. Oh man, this lady's in there. They got all these iron toys, like in tin soldier toys, like from way back. Like you talking about, you ever watch the movie The Patriot when they're melting down those little soldiers? Yeah, like stuff like that old, right? So this lady in front of us is buying every toy they got. And I know some of those things are like $50-$60, like the stuff that I'm looking at. Them old tin pop cars, like all that kind of stuff. I'm like, dude, and she's got her grandkids up there playing with those toys. I mean, trashing them, like slamming them into each other, taking the cars and ramming them into each other. And like I'm sitting behind her with my eye twitching. Like, I can't believe this. I'm about to snatch a kid up. Snatch your grandma up. Like, what are you doing? You just outbid me on all these toys just to let your kids tear them up. Like, that still drives me crazy. Yeah.
So the auction's like a dance recital.
I don't have a kid that don't want to clap. Yeah. It's funny, man. Yeah, it is. Sometimes you go and you're just like, okay, just get to what I want.
Twiddle your thumbs.
Yeah. But the other thing is my guy's got some comic books there that he's holding for me. So I at least won't go away empty handed, even if Ken outbids me on everything. Yeah, one of those things. But dude, I think we're going on 2 hours. I didn't realize it was that.
Yeah, man, we're 30 seconds away from crossing the 2 hour mark. Christina had to dip out. She's putting the baby down, but she wanted me to thank you guys for having her, or thank me.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
didn't say that, but now I'm saying that.
Fun for sure.
But yeah, I appreciate you coming on, Regina. I know it's not that easy for you to communicate, but hopefully you guys who are living with significant others can have a little more of an understanding where these ladies may be coming from. Maybe they shared something that is making you think a little bit more about how you integrate your business with your family life. Yeah. So it's been awesome just hearing your perspective.
Yeah, I mean, same for you guys, man. Obviously, I feel like I know you guys anyway, just because of all the conversations we've had. But yeah, seeing the whole family, that's cool, man. Seeing the
for sure, man,
on there, and obviously, Christina does have a lot of insight to things that not a lot of us are into or deal with. So, I mean, like I said the other day when I called you guys and we were talking about y'all selling breast pumps, I was like, man, I just saw one the other day, but I was scared to pick it up because I don't know.
Dude, honestly, you know what's funny? Like, I'm the one with the YouTube channel and like the part-time reseller jingle and all that stuff. She's been like hustling harder than me lately. She's like comping stuff. She's got me driving around like, completing her Facebook Marketplace deals. I'm like, okay, you know what? But it's cool, like I said, I'm lucky in that way that she supports me in that. But I think it's funny that she's actually more motivated than me sometimes when it comes to reselling and finding bigger ticket items, and it's like it's like Tim and the glassware stuff. It's stuff you don't think about, and you probably might walk past it. But if you know what you're looking for, dude, you could be walking past $100, $200. So,
well, I mean that's what it is for all of us. But like I said, if she's willing to do the research, one of the things I've really learned lately, even though like I said, I'm more of the fly by the seat of your pants kind of thing now. Like I look for oddball stuff, like just odd things that I'm like, man, this is different. I actually got some folk art this past time I was there, like at the estate sale. The guy had, it'll be on my video, but like the guy had this little nut man. He's like a little hobo looking dude made out of nuts. And he's got clothes on and everything. And I was like, that's just weird looking. Like, I don't know if it's worth anything. But then beside him, so obviously we live in Carolina, like where this auction is out in the middle of tobacco country. I mean, it's just that's what it is.
Yeah.
So I'm old timers, like, and like I got some tobacco twine in there that was in the bottom of the thing. That stuff's actually sells decent money, like $8 a roll.
Really?
Yeah. So it's that, but then one of the other little cool things they have this, and I don't even know if I can sell this on eBay because I actually, now that I got looking at it, I said, dude, I think that's actually tobacco. Hold on a second. I'm just going to get it because I can show it to you easier and I can describe it.
Show and tell. Yeah, it's so funny how excited he gets. Tobacco. What'd you say? Tobacco rope or whatever?
Tobacco. I don't know.
Tobacco twine.
Tobacco twine. Rope twine. Same business.
Yeah. I'll show you my little man first. Little nut guy. Man. Yeah, he's like a little hobo. But check this out. No, those aren't like what you think they are.
I don't think you're thinking of the right kind of plant, man. What is? Oh, that's the twine.
Yeah, this little thing right here. So they come in a cone like that, but these are like little tobacco leaves hanging.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, I don't know. I don't know if I can even sell that on eBay, but
yeah, I feel like you can't because it's nicotine products, right? I thought you were getting one of those.
I don't think anybody been smoking this thing like that, but like if you were to go to a tobacco barn, this is what it looks like. Like it has something that has it hanging up there, like the way this is.
Yeah.
So that's this is what it would look like. They'd have like the tobacco twine down there,
and
They'd be
hanging.
hanging it over the piece in the barn.
Yeah.
So that's how it's set up. So I thought it was cool.
Oh, Sean has a good idea. Sell it as art. I don't know how you would ship that, but is it like, is the tobacco that's hanging off of it, whatever's rolled there, is that
Dude,
like delicate?
It's all dried up, man. It's like, yeah.
So I feel like they're flaky. They're probably pretty delicate then.
Yeah, you'd have to bubble it up.
Yeah.
And probably put some saran wrap over it and then bubble it
Yeah.
up. That's what I'd do.
Because like if you ever mess with like old cigars, they like fall apart once they're all dried out and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think if I sold it as art, maybe like Sean was saying, for display only.
Yeah.
It's not hemp, dude. It's tobacco leaves straight up.
I know.
But it's
Friday night tends to be
unique. Because this guy, this dude was an old tobacco farmer. His wife actually made, man, I wish that there was somebody near me that was into clothing. His wife, like, their closet was slammed full of, like, clothing that she made. Like, it was all clothing that she made.
Yeah.
So, like, there was a rack of wool skirts with, like, those, what do you call them? Like, checkerboard looking patterns. That's not what you call it. I'm not a clothing person by anything. But
was it like the black and white, like the houndstooth?
Yeah. But all the different multicolors. Yeah, that lady had made all these wool skirts that were like that. They're like the trendy looking. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Plaid. Yeah.
Plaid.
That's what they are. But yeah, so it's one of those things. You find stuff occasionally that I was like, dude, I've never seen anything like that anywhere. So you pick it up. Victoria?
How are you, Victoria? I'm sorry, Victoria. I have not been able to peel myself out of bed early enough to make it to your live show. I miss you guys.
Oh, man. Yeah, we appreciate it. Christina, I'm glad you're back, so I can tell you I appreciate you coming on and being a part. And that's Ezra saying good night, y'all.
She's like, thank you. I gotta go again. Yeah.
Hey, we do thank all you guys for coming in and watching. Next week, like I said, we have Smoking Flips, so we have Brandon and Amber with us.
Awesome.
So that'll be a good time, and looking forward to that. As far as upcoming stuff, I know Sam obviously had on his live the other day that he had stuff going on, so we're not going to press him about any YouTube videos, but I know the one he's working on will be highly anticipated.
Yeah.
So
you'll definitely catch me here on Friday night, so for the time being, I'll let you know if anything changes from that. So
yeah. So, man, I appreciate you being here as always, Sam. And, it's been great having the friendship that we have and being able to hang out here Friday nights, nothing else. And then throughout the week when we get a chance to talk, it's great. So,
no doubt, brother. Congrats. I get monetized, my friend. Onwards and upwards, buddy. I'm excited for you.
Yeah. And I know, I think Sean's been dropping your link in the chat pretty steady.
Yeah.
It's in there. So subscribe to Sam if you're not there. Shasha said that she's been working on your hours for you.
I know. Shasha is amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you. Awesome. If I could give you a big old digital air hug, I would. But
yeah, for sure, man. I love it too because she comments on older videos too when she's watching your stuff, and you're like, oh man, some of those videos, I was like, I kind of forgot about this. Like, what was but yeah.
I'm like, oh man, that's good. But why? Thank you. But why?
Yeah. Yeah. She said air hugs are good. We appreciate it. Appreciate it for sure. So guys, as for me, hoping to get a video out this week. It should, if I can get this thing to cooperate. I've got the footage. I've got plenty of footage. I just got to get the editing side of it done. But I do appreciate all you guys that drop super chats. I appreciate all you guys that are here. And obviously it is a, accomplishment for me to get to where I'm at as far as YouTube, but ultimately it's not a huge money thing. I know that, after seeing the other day firsthand for myself. It's definitely not you do this for the money. I do it for the community, honestly, because I get to meet with guys like Sam. I get to meet all you guys that are in the chat, the people that I went to and had straight up meetups with in person. That's been awesome. None of that would have been possible without being a part of the YouTube reselling community. So I do thank each and every one of you guys, and we will catch you next time and look forward to seeing you. If nothing else, come in Tuesday because I'll be listening again. Got to get this stuff out of the living room.
Heard Regina.
So, yeah, appreciate you guys. Y'all have a good one.
All right.